Hi, welcome to my garden. It's amazing. One handful of soil has hundreds of thousands of organisms inside of here. The smell and the aromas of the soil relaxes me. Just digging my hands into the earth without using any machinery. We all have our ways that we can do things to help ease our well-being. For me, I come into the garden. I stopped for a couple years because I was doing other things, kind of building my business up, I guess, if you will, what I do here as a doctor of consciousness, and I'm here during this change of consciousness and frequency and vibration on the planet as we move through these different chaotic episodes. And they will come, and there'll be many. Not just the happening that I spoke about in the other video, that the happening, the big virus, the quarantine. You know, we were in quarantine. The entire planet was in quarantine. It's one of my little purple potatoes that I'll be planting in the earth here soon. The whole planet was in quarantine for a very long time. Most of creation doesn't even know we exist. It had to be this way. It had to be this way. We all thought, the human thought they were alone, the how, what, when, where, how, all of it. Didn't know, didn't realize. Too much in the mind, too much being in a singular identity. This body, this lifetime, the family, the biology, all of it. We settle down with a name, a family, a life, a job. We go out to the world and we set ourselves right up on that Shakespearean play. And we participate. And in these times, it's best, you know, unless that's what you need for your greater good. It's best to disengage as much as you can from the outside world, because it will create great stress and anxiety within you. It's all that we let in. It really is. It's all that we let in. It's all that we let in. And of course, we use our breath. We take a good deep breath in and we let it out, because the breath always keeps us anchored into the present moment. Even when you're in that moody, anxiety, tension going on, all of the things that can create other emotions such as anger, you know, frustration, all sorts of things come up. Everything that we experience is for our greater good. So everything is there for our greater good. There's this little red potato going in the ground here. And even when you feel like all odds are against you, especially during these times, I mean, it's going to happen. When the systems are crumbling, giving way to a new type of order, but this time around, it won't be based off of the loose structures of the third dimension. The right, the wrong, left, right, you know, good, bad, all of that, the duality, you know? And since this expansion and creation, we have twice as much duality. So we have twice as much happening than ever before, but then we have a new type of way to engage into everything. And this is the neutral energies that I began to speak about back in 2017 when I developed my discussion space, New Space, neutral energetic space. We can stop, observe, and then choose our course of action. Instead of, you know, as soon as something happens, we go immediately into reaction mode. And so tension, anxiety, it's an individual happening. It really is. And so, you know, you can't just give this whole thing to a whole group of people and apply it to everyone. You, as individually, you have your own threshold and what you can handle. Also, that's there to serve you. And so when we move through the anxiety, if it comes up in the moment, we stay with what happens. And you stay, and you keep staying, and stay, and stay, stay. And eventually the moment passes, and it's a new moment, and it loosens up. Perhaps you are diagnosed with anxiety, or and you take medication, you know, because the doctors had told you through their understanding, or their limited understanding of you know, the body and your chemistry. But what I'm saying here, through my, you know, through my expertise and what I've worked with so far with the human, is that, you know, you can perform magic on yourself, just literally by being with what comes up. Because everything is here to serve us, and all is really well. You cannot not be okay. Anxiety and stress is one of the biggest killers. It's actually one of the biggest triggers for one of the biggest killers of heart disease, cancers. It's just stuck energy, looking to be released. All energy seeks resolution. So this is stuck energy, and it can wreak havoc in the body. And when not checked, it can really create something solid that's perceived by the doctors, the healthcare industry, as a illness, disease, something that's incurable. And to me, there's no problems. There's only solutions. And in being human myself, and doing this human tango, even though it came to my a home came to me, and I am with my consciousness the way it is, and I am pretty much in the present moment all the time. As much as I can, the human comes in. The human is conditioned. The human, there's no fixing certain things. And so we stay with it. That's what was said. We stay with it, and it will pass. And then it gets better. And then this is what we do. So this is what we do. This is how we navigate. And you choose something maybe in these times right now to alleviate, get yourself distracted. Distractions are nice, you know. It's not all about sitting there and trying to reach enlightenment, and when you're feeling really a lot of stress and anxiety, tension, you really, you know, in these times, you know, we bypass that. We don't have to go the same route as that. We don't have to sit there and agonize ourselves trying to reach the state of being. No, it's more of as you embrace and be with what is. And you can do whatever you want. You don't have to just sit there in this lotus position, like the age-old ancient ways of meditation, this thing we call meditation, being with the self and listening. Helps with the inner voice of listening. Because mass consciousness is very loud at times. During these times now, it's extremely loud. And it comes right in, you know, what's yours, what's not, what is yours, and what's the world's. How much of that really is yours that you should be concerned about? Unless you're taking on beliefs that you are this empath and there's a spiritual thing that you have to be saving the world by doing certain things for other people. Take care of the self. I always say, healer, heal thyself. Because once you do that, you heal a whole bunch of people around you just by your frequency and vibration alone. This is how it works. It's worked with me. It's worked for me thus far. So, just to let you know, it can. And the mind is a powerful thing. And the mind has the questions, and always has questions, just to find this answer to keep you safe. Make sure you look around the bend. What's going to happen tomorrow? Do we get this checked? Do we get that checked? It's really good with math. But it creates emotions when you can't figure out what is happening. And with this perfect happening right now, there's a lot of questions. Way more questions than answers. It's confusing. A lot of people are in confusion. You may be one. State of confusion. And it does. It accumulates in the body. And so we're here just to tell you that you can use, distract yourself with activity that you find good for you. It may not be working in the soil like I do. The earth is very grounding. It's a grounding thing to do for anyone. I don't care where you're at with your consciousness, if you're reaching enlightenment in this lifetime or not. Perhaps you just want a good state of being. And that's why I give these videos. And I have a topic like this. I bounce around all over the place. Generally, I speak about the same things. being a doctor of consciousness. It's what I do. It's my job. If I'm not doing it, I'm sleeping. And the human doesn't sleep very much, really. We just get a few hours here and there, unless we're really tired and traveling. So, yeah. The anxiety and stress can be really something else for you. So, remind you that no one is there going to rescue you from that. You know, you can take a drug, a doctor that doesn't have really understanding of creation and consciousness, and trust them, sure. It's you do what you do. You read it, you sense it into yourself. But I'm just letting you know that there's alternative choices, and that's what alternative medicine is. And it's rising and rising quicker and exponentially as we speak right now, because the healthcare industry doesn't know what to do with this. And there's, again, multidimensional happenings. This virus is a huge shocker for everybody. It's interrupting all systems on the entire planet, everywhere. It's a good thing. It's a very, very good thing. Yes, people are dying. Don't get me wrong. And I can't say everything in a short video like this, 15 minutes I usually make. My disclaimers that I give, just follow my work. And, I speak to you on a very personal level, very personable, and on a one-on-one basis. I provide guidance sessions for anything that needs to be taken care of. And it always works in the background, and it works out of time and space. So the session gets done, and then it could be 3 to 2 weeks later. It's all happening. You're basically in kind of like a surgery. When you get a surgery at a hospital, you get it done, the surgeon sits you down, and the doctor tells you not to do certain things for a certain amount of time, accordingly to you, to what's happening to you. That's the same thing with this. Psychic surgeries work the same way, okay? So don't hesitate to contact me if you need assistance with that. But the message here that I'm telling you is that you literally, it's how you hold your attention. It's how you carry yourself during these times, what you're paying attention to, what you're letting in, what news you're listening to. You can stop. You can stop. Utilize this time. Time is money. You know that old phrase? It's true. And so we could use all this time that we have to do the things that we couldn't do when we were all so busy with work and stuff. With me, nothing changed because I've been preparing for these times for the past 3 years solidly, working with long distance, getting really good professional at doing long distance healing all over the world for people, and here we are. So I'm here for you if you need to do that. You can use intention, like the alchemical way, to set an intention. Close your eyes, take a good deep breath, and any anxiety and stress that you're carrying, place it in to any flower. You don't have to use a rose per se, but anything you find beautiful. I advise to use flowers. Here I am in the garden, and just bring the image up in your mind, and with intention, with a purpose personified, with your intention, just place that anxiety in there until you see it and feel it. If you're not visual, that's okay, just sense it. And then just have it dissipate, meaning just dissolve the image and dissolve it and feel the freeing up. Because all we're doing is distracting the mind. Because the mind, again, is it's just on a train. It'll just keep going until it doesn't. Until you actually apply it takes a little bit of effort, just to apply a little bit with the breath. Use the breath in. And the breath out. And just visualize placing that anxiety and stress inside of that beautiful image and dissipate it. If you have any questions around that, let me know. You could do what you want. It's just basically using alchemy. We always used to say alchemy was turning silver into gold. Well, yes, but the real true thing that was happening back in the days when it was first really introduced, back after the long fall of consciousness, was applying this to our consciousness, is raising our level of awareness of ourselves, of our divine knowing of who we are, no beginning, no end. And it's not religious or spiritual, it has nothing to do with any of it, it's just the way it is. And you have your own individual truths within, and you find that within your own confine. When you're clear in mind and you relax, you can do a lot more, but you can utilize stress and anxiety to just expand the movements to get somewhere. I wanted to stay away from going forward, but to expand your movements. You see, you can do whatever. You can either be with it, whatever arises, or use your alchemy if it gets too painful to relieve the pressure of it. You don't necessarily need to go to a doctor to get medication. If you have a psychologist or someone that you go to speak to, continue to do that. That's great, or a friend or family member. And again, my services are available for you. So I just want to end on that. I'm going to get back to planting my potatoes here. And thank you so much for being in this session, and may it help you. And again, if you have any questions, just visit my website, murielschickman.com, and there's a contact form on there. I'm on social media all the time. Facebook, I have my author page. I'm a self-published author too. I have a few books that I wrote. One of them is my novel that happened to me on Embodied Enlightenment, and that's available on Amazon, hardcover on lulu.com. All of that's on my website. All the events that is coming up, all of that. So stay tuned, and thank you so much. Thank you so much. May you be well.